Do your parents have a no dessert unless you eat dinner kind of rule? Is it that unless you eat all your veggies, you don't get anything sweet to eat afterwards? Can you imagine if your sister or brother didn't eat any of their meal and you ate all of your meal and your sister or brother got exactly the same treat as you? I did a little experiment around my dinner table this week, and what I did was, after dinner, I offered everyone some chocolate. But what I did was I gave one member of my family a lot of chocolate and one member of my family just one piece to see how they would react. And as you can imagine, they were pretty confused and they thought that that just wasn't quite fair. It didn't seem to make any sense. And the reason that I did this was because when I first read the passage from today, I thought this seems a little unfair. Let me tell you the story. Jesus told a story about a man who owned a vineyard. A vineyard is a place that grew fruit. Now this man would employ different people every day to help pick the fruit. He found someone at the beginning of one day who wanted to help all day to pick the fruit. Later on in the day, he found someone else who also wanted to help pick the fruit, and they joined the first person. This kept happening across the day, and the man kept employing people to help picking the fruit. Now, by the end of the day, with just 1 hour left, I'm sure everyone would have been quite tired. But even just with 1 hour left, the man employed someone to come and pick the fruit. They came in at the very last hour. Now, at the end of the day, everyone would have lined up to get their pay, giving the man all the fruit from the day. But when it came time for them to get paid, the man gave the same amount of money to everyone, to the guy who'd been working all day, just as much as the guy who came in at the last hour. Seems weird, doesn't it? Can you imagine if you were that guy who started early in the morning with all the work and then you got paid the same amount as that person who jumped in at the very, very end? It seems super unfair. But you know what? Can you imagine if it was the opposite? Imagine if you were the person who was jumping in at the very last minute and you still got the full payment for a whole day's work. Now, this is a pretty confusing story, but Jesus tells us it to illustrate that God is unfair, kind of. By our human standards, he might seem unfair, but he is unfair in a way that benefits us all. This parable tells us that it's not about how much work you do, how many good things you do as a Christian, or even about how long you've been a Christian. Everyone is promised the same reward, and that reward is to be in heaven with God. And the reason that we all get the same reward is because Jesus is the one who earned it for us. So it doesn't matter how many good things you do, or how long you've been doing good things, or how long you've known Jesus. We're all promised the same reward. So it is amazingly unfair, at least it might seem to us, that we, even if we are the last minute Christians, still get the full payment. I'm going to thank God for this now. Dear Lord, thank you that you've saved us, not because of what we do or how long we've been doing it, but because of Jesus. Please help us to trust that you are the true judge, that you know what is just, and that you know what is fair. Amen.